is not behaving. What are the problems with my code? One is that it's failing to load a project. Something about the gradient sets that I've introduced has made it not work. Another problem with my code is that somehow my handle code does this. Now, I think that is because I am not attending to the scale of the display when I think about the handle. I'm not exactly sure which way around I've got to get it, but I've got to sort that. So, it's two things, and I'm going to look at the handle code first. I'm going to look at recursor. Oh, where is it? It's in work zone. Gradient editor. All these things I'm going to shrink down. Think about them one by one. In the work zone. In the work method of the work zone, things happen like this. Drag handle. Set mouse world. Subtract selected vert. Okay, so the drag handle needs to... what is it? So at the moment it's in the mouse world, and it needs to be in screen space. Tab selected vert in screen space. But I can scale the drag handle. Is this a wise thing to do? At the moment the drag handle is in world space. If I say drag handle scale by, that will make it shrink. Scale by project display Z. Now that's a bit of a guess. I'm just wondering what effect that'll have, because I'm just uncertain exactly what the problem is here. It's something to do with this, but again, typical of me, I'd rather faff around and guess if it's going to be easy to guess. Let's see what's that's done. First off, when I just grab one, it seems fine. When I zoom out, yeah, it actually almost looks like it's made the problem worse or something. Yeah, okay, well, that's the kind of thing I do when I'm just desperate. What I actually want to do is, like, divide it by that or something like that. This is where even my basic maths is just pretty obviously average. Hahaha, okay, this is nothing like what I need to be doing, obviously. That scales other than... And my scaling is just so silly as well. Yeah. How do I need to do it? Let me think better about it than just guessing. Well, actually, to be fair, this is really kind of what I think I need to be doing. This is the difference in world space. Let me run it yet again without doing that, and try again zooming in and zooming out and getting a better idea of exactly what it's doing. And then in dragging, here it just works fine. There the zoom is at. There, it really seems to work just fine. It's when I zoom out, it jumps. Why would it work okay zoomed in? Is it just that I can't get that far zoomed in? It never ever jumps, not a single... Let me switch grid on. just not a single pixel. Then zoomed out, it instantly jumps, and it always jumps down into. Let me switch the grid off. Right, it's kind of switching quadrants, is it? If I grab it in the top right quadrant, I get it in the top left. Bottom right, get it top left. Okay, no, it always switches to the top left. Actually, let me change this. Always to the top left. Zoomed out. Further out I zoom. And I zoom all the way, it was very far out. The change is smaller. This is really strange. And back in again, and the effect just disappears. It would be handy in a way to be able to set the scale. One thing I can do, set the scale to an actual number. See, that's a little zoomed out and it seems okay. That seems okay. Then it jumps. And actually, when I think about it, no, having the handle in world coordinates isn't the problem. That just... Okay. No, it's not. Having the handle in world coordinates isn't a problem because this is also, of course, in world coordinates. It subtracts the drag handle. The drag handle is set to be the mouse minus the vert, which means it's a direction from vert to mouse as a vector. I think I'm right in saying. So, well, actually, if I've got that right, then I've got this wrong. Is it? No. Okay, let me... This is ridiculous to find such a simple thing so frustrating, but I better just do what I have to do and actually draw it. Okay, oops, sorry. Right. If these are the axes, if the vert was in this position and the mouse was in this position and this was 3 minus 2 and this was 6 minus 1, then when I let me see if I can get this all on screen. When I set the drag handle to be the mouse world, this is all in world coordinates, then it's equal to 6 minus 1. When I subtract the selected vert, that's 6 minus 3, which equals 3, minus 1 minus minus 2, is equal to 1, because minus, okay. So the vector I get out of that is 3, 1, which is this vector. The movement from vert to this. Yeah, but it is still right, now that I think about it again. Because in dragging, I set it to be the mouse position first, yeah, then I subtract the drag handle. So, why is it? Why is it? Is it something to do with this problem? Remember this? Oh. This. I don't expect that little change to make the difference, but I was concerned about this thing becoming out of sync because I was just doing it here and ignoring all this. Like, this thing might happen after this. If this thing happens after this and this never gets... Oh, bloody mic. Don't know how long that mic was off. Yeah, I'm going to get it to print out numbers. In here I'm dragging, and the mouse button's down, and there is a select corner, so I can say debug right handle x handle string, no, I will have a truncated float, drag handle x plus truncated float, drag handle, no y plus now. I wonder if that's enough for just now, just to see what that value is. So this should be a world space. Okay, actually wait. I'll also have the mouse, I think. And actually, now that I remember it, if plus mouse world to string str, great. So actually in here as well. What? In here as well I could do the same thing. And I will. Plus drag handle string. And really I am being shown it at this point. Okay. Minus 3.5 minus 4. 2.54. These look correct. You know, I'm looking at the position I'm grabbing the little bobble by, x 4.5, y 1. So this, if I grab it by here, it should be positive x, negative y. Yeah. And if I grab it here, it should be negative x, negative y. Yeah, negative 3.5, negative 4. And the x and the y look correct in this scale. So I zoom out to here. I grab it in a positive x, positive y. The handle is positive x, positive y. It's still getting a positive x, positive y handle, and if I grab it here, yeah, it's still getting that correct. And further away, but that should be fine. As long as it remains constant. Really, the quadrant that the handle is appearing in is still correct. So I think that the handle is correct. If I grab it and drag it all the way out here, I see the mouse goes to minus 958 and 537. Y 529. Yeah. I set it to the mouse, then I subtract this, which, let me check that again. I set it to the mouse, then I subtract this, which should move it to the left. Why is it moving to the right? X is 36. X 36 minus 8 makes 28. Further closer towards. Oops. In other words, closer towards the y-axis. And yet it doesn't. It moves further away from the y-axis. Closest. Is this something to do with it? at certain radiuses, then further out the whole thing becomes less noticeable. That this kind of closest P, add mouse W, closest P gets that, selected this is what it is, isn't it? I think I could fix this by just having a bit of logic that says, are there any snaps at all? Or what? Because what happens is it gets to here, and closest P is just a vector that's been set to a snap radius, which is in screen units. And I always want it to be in screen units. But here, it's getting set to, like, it's happening in world units. Current snap is each in snaps. Current snap, get the closest thing, put it in a snap point. Snap point, subtract the mouse world, so this will get a distance. Yeah, a vector describing the move from mouse world to snap point in world units. Snap point length is less than closest point length. Now, in certain world units, so let me think if this is, yeah, so I think I will guess that at a certain scale, it's like this will not be satisfied because there are no snaps, so this isn't, well, it just doesn't make sense. This vector needs to be in world units. The snap radius. So what it means is, as you're more zoomed in, the snap radius has to be smaller. So I'm going to do this. I'm really not sure about that though. So now, if you're scaled up, which is to say zoomed in, the effective snap radius has shrunk. Every square in that grid is larger. You need to be closer to one of the corners for it to snap. I think that this comes out now. Let me see. Then it will go through these, and this will be in world units. So closest P will remain in world units. I think actually that maybe should stay in. Let me just see what happens now when I run this. Not that confident about this, as you can tell, as I will be able to tell if I listen back to this. Okay, that works as expected. I zoom out, and that works as expected. I zoom in, and it works as expected. I think that was it. I'm not that happy because that snaps. Now as I zoom out, it should get to a point where it just snaps to everything. And as I zoom in, I should, yeah, I've got a big area around each one that I can move it to, which is, I think, as it should be. Having said, okay, I think this problem is solved. Perhaps one day I'll be compelled to figure out the maths for it, but there it grabs it okay. Here, yeah, even when it's on a spot, if I pick it up from there and pluck it off the spot, don't know what happens while I zoom. Yeah, the zoom, it's hard to tell actually. Yeah, zooming while dragging still drags it off center, but I'm not going to bother fixing that, to be fair. Okay. It does bring me to another issue with my snaps, which is I did realise having what I've been calling strict snapping would be good, but it's not really strict snapping. It's giving greater priority to intersections of snap groups, and actually that the grid should be divided into two snap groups, or two snap objects, a set of horizontal lines and vertical lines, so that I can snap to this, but that's more attractive. And that it works across snapping things, so that this is the most attractive point nearby, because it crosses 1, 2, 3 different snaps. It is important. It would be a lot more useful. My snaps would be more useful if they did that, and I think they will, or should at some time in the future. For the time being, they're still really useful. I really like the snapping. But I will call that a solved problem for now. And I will think about... It does give me one thought though, which is I'll say local scaled snap radius float equals snap radius divided by project display set. Because I do figure it out 3 times here, and I don't need to. But then I do think to myself as well, what does it take to allocate a local? Not much, I guess. I've no idea really. This is why knowing more about the deep down stuff must be better. Anyway. So the next thing was loading and saving projects. And for that I will expand upon this a bit. Here I think are the moments when when I load a custom class and I do a little check returning null if the custom class fails to load. When I'm loading a project, that is. At several moments loading a project, I load an instance of a custom class. And look at that. If I would guess that'll be the problem. Without even doing anything else, what I basically was doing there was saying, if not np ink color, for example, if ink color has failed to read this color instance from this file stream, just return null. And here I just missed out the word not. So basically I was saying, if I've got a class, got a gradient set loaded, return null. One moment. bigger. Make this a bit... Okay. And are there any other... No, everything else is floats, ints, bools, that. And I better make project failed to load. Paper color. Ink color or corner. No, gradient set. Okay. Also, where was it I was printing out all that crazy stuff? It was in work of this. Here. Sometimes I will do this sort of thing when I'm still not certain that I've reached the end, but I don't want a couple of remarks sitting in my code, which I may unremark later. I'll stick them on the end like that. It's not very pretty. But okay, now, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to remove this current. Will I? It might actually load that okay. I'll leave it. If it loads up something, then that's a bonus. Can't remember what state I left it in. Oh, 32 minutes already just of fixing these bugs, but never mind, that's fine. Okay, look at that, it loaded. I can tell immediately because it has these things in this position. Now, what I'll do 4 recursions. I'm going to set up a reasonable little situation here. Now, also I'll switch off and off and off. Now I'll exit, and this time I'm going to do a release build. The thing, I just want to make sure that it does load that up, then I'm going to play with it for about a minute just to demonstrate that it's working, that the bits of it are working. Now, as the days have been going on, I have been thinking more about C++. I know that there's a really good That Handmade Heroes series on YouTube. Has a great, I believe, and I have watched it a long time ago, the introductory set of videos about setting yourself up to run and compile C++ programs. I know it goes through I'm pretty sure that will be where I will start, and that I will have to do it, I guess. This ink actually seems kind of bright to me for what I want. Now, 4 recursions with 1, 2, 3, 4 segments. Just about dropping frames there. But then, yeah, I really like the grid snapping. Oops, yeah, it's not going to like that much. I'll be able to get it to go square somewhere, I think. Up here. Oh, it skips it, does it? Look at that, it goes from one side to the other. Anyway, I'm going to stop playing with it just now. It seems to be working fine. Oh, look, I love to go like that and see. It's just addictive to play with. I'll take it down our recursion and see if I can get it to go smooth. I think that I might build allow the snap radius to be editable in just here in the options. Oh, there's so much playing with this I want to do now that I have the snapping options, but I will not do that. I'll stop playing with it just now and I'll think about doing the gradient render next, because of course on top of everything else the gradient button does still work. It's still doing 60 as well with that. I wonder if I can make it upset. I can't actually imagine ever using this number of colours to determine a gradient over space and time, or height and time, but you know, maybe it would happen. But it's still holding 60. I just don't think the GUI has much effect drawing this number of things. It's drawing whatever it is, many, not that many, I guess. How many points do I see? 1, 2, 3, 4, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 to the power 4. 1296 lines. So not that many, because actually just drawing this box, well, when it's filled with gadgets, takes quite a few. Anyway, I'm wittering. I think that that's a video. 2 little bugs solved, which is great. And now I can think about rendering gradient, which is quite different to what I've been doing, like I say, and it'll be interesting.